As we dive into the April 2025 snowfall predictions, it's fascinating to see how the merging effects of La Nina and the polar vortex are shaping our weather. The recent resurgence of La Nina is set to influence snowfall patterns across North America, while a high-pressure system in the Pacific will play a crucial role in defining our weather. In Canada, we're looking at a localized polar vortex core that could lead to some intense cold events. As we transition from late winter to early spring, expect a roller coaster of weather dynamics. This season, the oceanic La Nina's influence is particularly strong, promising a mix of snowfall and fluctuating temperatures. So keep an eye on the forecasts. This period is bound to bring some surprises as these powerful forces collide. As we dive into the official February to April temperature outlook, it's clear that the northern United States is bracing for colder conditions, while the southern half and the eastern regions are likely to experience warmer weather. Interestingly, the central United States sits in a zone of equal chances, indicating that cold air from the northwestern United States and western Canada could sweep through, bringing with it the best chances for snowfall. Now, let's talk precipitation. The forecast shows a promising outlook for the eastern United States, especially across the Ohio Valley and the Pacific Northwest, where we can expect more moisture. This is crucial, as snow needs both cold air and moisture to form. So if you're in the Pacific Northwest, the Midwest, or the northeastern United States, get ready for potential late winter and early spring snowfall events. Meanwhile, the southwestern United States is looking at a drier than normal season ahead. Keep an eye on the skies. It's going to be an interesting few months. April 2025 is shaping up to be an interesting month for snowfall across the United States. The ECMWF long-range model is predicting above normal snowfall in the northern regions, particularly in the upper Midwest and Northeast. This is likely due to the lingering effects of La Nina, which often boosts spring snowfall in these areas. Meanwhile, the UCloud data shows a similar trend, highlighting significant snowfall in the northern and northwestern United States as well as southern Canada. However, it also indicates a decrease in snowfall for the northeastern and central states compared to previous forecasts. Down south, we can expect less snowfall overall, but that's not unusual as we move deeper into spring. So it looks like the northern states might enjoy a longer snow season, while the southern regions will likely see a typical spring thaw. In contrast to the ECMWF, we often rely on the UKMO model for our forecasts. This dual approach allows us to compare results, and when both models align, it boosts our confidence in the accuracy of the predictions. Recently, the UKMO has indicated a significant snowfall anomaly over the northwestern United States, particularly in the upper Midwest and far northeastern regions, while showing less snowfall across the plains and eastern United States. Interestingly, even though these long-range forecasts were released some time ago, newer medium-range forecasts suggest an uptick in snowfall potential for mid-month across central and eastern parts of the country. Looking ahead to April 2025, the ECMWF is predicting above normal snowfall in the northern United States, especially in the upper Midwest and Northeast. This trend is likely influenced by La Nina, which often enhances spring snowfall in these areas. It's fascinating to see how these patterns evolve and what they mean for the end of the snow season. In total, these patterns significantly influence snowfall potential as we head into early spring. While we lack a precise snowfall anomaly forecast from the ensembles, the long-range model provides a clearer picture. The March seasonal snowfall forecast indicates increased snowfall across the northern United States and Canada. Interestingly, current mid-March trends suggest a potential uptick in snowfall for the western United States, Midwest, and Northeast. When comparing models, we often turn to the UKMO alongside the ECMWF. This dual approach enhances our confidence in the forecasts. The UKMO model highlights a pronounced snowfall anomaly in the northwestern United States, with notable increases in the upper Midwest and far northeastern regions. However, it also indicates less snowfall across the plains and eastern United States. This contrast in predictions is crucial for understanding the upcoming weather patterns. As we step into March, meteorological spring is upon us, but don't be fooled. Snowfall can still make a surprise appearance. In North America, mid-March often brings a classic La Niña high-pressure system from the North Pacific. This creates a polar vortex over Canada, allowing cold air to pool and push southward into the U.S. While the southern ridge strengthens, we see warmer temperatures creeping into the southern states and up the East Coast. However, the forecast reveals a different story for the western and northeastern United States, where colder than normal temperatures linger. Even in the heart of spring, the central United States can still experience those unexpected chilly days and snow flurries. So while we anticipate warmer days ahead, don't pack away those winter coats just yet. As we dive into the second half of February, the polar vortex continues to play a significant role in shaping our weather. The pressure forecast in the lower stratosphere reveals the polar vortex shifting towards eastern Canada and the eastern United States, which is set to influence weather patterns below. Expect to see colder air settling over the eastern half of the United States while the northwestern region and all of Canada experience warmer than normal temperatures. This tug-of-war in temperatures is crucial, as it sets the stage for snowfall potential. The ensemble snowfall forecast highlights the northwestern United States, the Midwest, and the northeastern states as key areas for significant snowfall in the final week of February. Keep an eye on these trends, as they are just the beginning of what could be an interesting weather pattern ahead. As we approach mid-February, a significant cold air mass is set to sweep across the United States and southern Canada, driven by the polar vortex. This means increased snowfall potential for many regions. The latest ECMWF model indicates a vast area of snowfall, particularly from the Midwest, stretching into the northeastern United States and southeastern Canada. Interestingly, even parts of Texas and Oklahoma could see some snow. Switching to the GFS model, we find a similar forecast emerging. It highlights a maximum snowfall area in the northeastern United States and southeastern Canada, while also covering the western and central states. This is shaping up to be a noteworthy snowfall event, and it's essential to keep an eye on these developments as they unfold. Stay tuned for updates as we track this winter finale. This winter, the north-central United States is experiencing a snowy season, especially in the Dakotas, Nebraska, and Minnesota, thanks to those weak La Niña years. Interestingly, while the Northeast is seeing more snowfall, the Southeast is missing out. As we dive into February, the final month of meteorological winter, a significant cold air mass is sweeping across the United States and southern Canada. This is driven by the polar vortex, which is responsible for this intense cold outbreak. The latest 15-day snowfall forecast from ECMWF reveals a vast area of snowfall coverage, particularly from the Midwest stretching into the northeast and southeastern Canada. This surge in cold air is set to boost snowfall potential across much of the region, making for a dramatic winter finale. As we dive into the fascinating world of weather patterns, let's explore how the polar jet stream is influenced by a weak La Niña this season. Picture this. The jet stream shifts, bringing colder temperatures and storms to the northern and northwestern United States, while the southern and eastern states bask in warmer, drier conditions. This creates a striking divide across the country, with the north experiencing more frequent cold and wet events. Now focusing on January through March, we can expect above-average snowfall across much of the northern United States and southern Canada. The Pacific Northwest, in particular, is set to see peak snowfall in its higher elevations. It's a classic example of how the jet stream can create two distinct weather poles, shaping our winter landscape in unexpected ways. La Niña is making its presence felt this spring across North America, and it's fascinating to see how this phenomenon shapes our weather. With colder than normal ocean temperatures in the tropical Pacific, we're witnessing a significant shift in atmospheric patterns. The trade winds are powering this event, pushing those chilly waters across the central and western equatorial Pacific. This is part of the ENSO cycle, where the ocean and atmosphere interact in a dance of warm and cold phases. Recently, the negative temperature anomalies have intensified, which means we can expect some interesting weather patterns ahead. From wetter conditions in the Pacific Northwest to drier spells in the southern United States, La Niña is a key player in our climate story this season. Keep an eye on those forecasts. They're about to get a lot more intriguing. As we dive into the April 2025 snowfall predictions, the merging effects of La Niña and the Polar Vortex are set to create some intriguing weather dynamics across the United States and Canada. Recent activity from La Niña is ramping up, influencing our weather patterns significantly. A strong high-pressure system in the Pacific will shape conditions in the United States, while a localized polar vortex core will dominate Canada. This transitional period from late winter to early spring often brings a mix of weather events, and this season is no exception. Expect a roller coaster of snowfall and cold snaps as these forces collide. With La Niña's resurgence, we're likely to see above-average snowfall in certain regions, while others may experience milder conditions. It's a fascinating interplay that will keep us on our toes as we navigate through these unpredictable weeks ahead. As we dive into the April 2025 snowfall predictions, it's fascinating to see how the merging effects of La Niña and the polar vortex are shaping our weather. The recent resurgence of La Niña is set to influence snowfall patterns across North America, while a high-pressure system in the Pacific will play a crucial role in defining our weather. In Canada, we're looking at a localized polar vortex core that could lead to some intense cold events. As we transition from late winter to early spring, expect a roller coaster of weather dynamics. This season, the oceanic La Niña's influence is particularly strong, promising a mix of snowfall and fluctuating temperatures. So keep an eye on the forecasts. This period is bound to bring some surprises as these powerful forces collide.